Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Talk Podcast, everyone. Today, we will be reacting to a reaction video. Yes, I know, that's hilarious, isn't it? We will be taking a look to a YouTuber that I actually enjoy a lot, which is Riva TV. She has so many good content, like interesting clips that she reacts to. And the reason why I enjoy it is just because she's honest, straightforward. She is not going to sugarcoat anything. And it's just entertaining. So let's take a look together what this clip is about. And I've already seen like a few seconds, maybe a minute. Join me.
So I would recommend grab yourself something nice to drink. I'm having some coffee. I'm actually really cozied up here. Is that how you say it? Well, it's cozy over here. So let's see. Let's start.
Honestly, I was just bored. Like my husband, all he did was she was telling me that she got divorced. She's like, honestly, I was just bored. Like she was telling me that she got divorced. She's like, honestly, I was just bored. Like my husband, all he did was work. So recently, I caught up with an old friend, and she was telling me that she got divorced. And I was so surprised because her and her husband were such a cute couple, and they have been together for 11
Before we actually let the whole story play, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, mixed feelings. Okay, so on one hand I get it, people are content creators, maybe she's even in some kind of educational space, maybe she's even an attorney for divorce cases and that's why she's sharing this, but I think there's something odd about it. I just met my friend, we haven't met in a long time, she shared her business with me and I'm sharing it on the internet. I know we do that sometimes. I guess people do that sometimes, and it's good. It's fair that she did not drop the name, but I'm hoping they had a conversation beforehand saying, I'm going to expose your story. Because if I'm that friend and I go on your story, we just met an hour ago, a few days ago, I'm going to know that's my story that you're using. I'm going to know you're exposing me, and I'm not going to feel too comfortable. Let's say if I wasn't aware of this, you didn't ask me beforehand, and we're friends. I'm sorry, that's a bit weird.
years. So I asked her, like, what happened? I figured something bad happened. She's like, honestly, I was just bored. Like, my husband, all he did was work. I was a stay at home mom. We had 3 kids, and I just got lonely and bored.
Only reason I'm stopping right here is because this is the number one reason why a lot of women walk away from beautiful, amazing, inspiring relationships. Okay, the number one consensus from a lot of these women is because they are bored, because the spark is gone, because the fire is gone. And, more and more women are going to start to realize that number one, you as a woman are in charge of that spark in your relationship, right? Because men are reciprocal, they reciprocate energy. And two, that whenever you go over there and you look over that fence, ain't gonna be no grass. Okay, they think and they believe the grass is greener on the other side. They get a bench, look over the fence, it's dust. Okay, it's dirt, it's rocks over there.
And she says that when she would bring it up, like, he would take her out, but it was just boring to her. Like, she needed some excitement in her life. She just felt like she was just a mom and a wife, and her husband just wasn't doing that for her. And she had other friends that had, boyfriends, or like they had just got married, and they were always going out, always going on vacation, always partying, like going to the club, going to the bar, hanging out with friends, and they did none of that.
This is the same thing that happened with Tia's situation. Okay, nobody can't tell me no.
The Tia Mari situation, that was a story that I would say intentionally chose not to dive into because they are celebrities, but over time I'm still thinking maybe that is a good example because the way she went about it is a situation that we see playing out in real life, right? It has nothing to do with celebrity status anymore. And that story is a very unfortunate story because, as we all heard, see, and what we think to know of, is she's definitely regretting leaving that man who did not do anything. He didn't do anything.
No different. This is what a lot of these women do. They go ahead, they're already married. They have their own lives together. They have, what people are striving for is a commitment, somebody to give you the highest honor of making you a wife, making you a mother. They're in those situations and then they go back and they watch their single friends. It's just like when, people who they wish they could get this certain career and they will dedicate their life to it, and then they get into the career and then they go back and reflect on the times when they had the other job that was easier, even though it was less play. Like it's just that feeling of never being satisfied.
It's the happiness chase, and that is a topic that I spoke about long time ago. And I mean, I'm not perfect. I find myself in that situation being, oh, today I don't feel happy. And, to some degree it is normal. But I think this hyper idea, putting this, I need to feel a certain way all the time on a pedestal within a relationship, especially, because that is a feeling that people have in day to day life, like not even in a relationship. Sometimes you're just not happy about maybe your state of the week was bad, you're not happy about it, you're like, oh, I hate my job, or you, I don't know, things happen. But within a relationship, if you want to put that on the highest pedestal, you will be sad.
So she's watching her single friends who don't have any commitment, who have superficial relationships. They're taking vacation. They don't have any kids. Whatever it is, and they're being influenced by all these other women.
Let's pause right here. And so now, when I say you're going to be sad, that means obviously if you put that on the highest pedestal to always feel happy at all given times, it is unrealistic. And to pursue something that is known to be unrealistic will make you sad. You will just end up in a cycle of never getting what you're searching for. Because as human beings, to we go through different states, different situations, and sometimes your feelings, they get to you. Sometimes they're more overwhelming. Sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes, all these things. So to be happy at all times in your workplace, unrealistic. Because why? Sometimes you just need to push through harder. There might be tasks that you don't want to do and you have to push through anyways. There might be someone that's getting on your nerves and you need to push through anyways. Like all these kinds of things. I think when we talk about work, it is so much easy to understand and just project that in some kind of dynamic onto a relationship. And I hope it will be understandable as well, that some days are not going to be, glitz and glamour all the time. Sometimes you find yourself having tough conversations that might not be happy in the, make you happy in the moment. But when you speak on those things and you work through, at the end you're going to be back happy. So people shouldn't misunderstand that, and people should, if they find themselves in that situation, actually sit yourself down and ask yourself, what kind of expectations do you put onto others to make you happy, and what could you possibly change in terms of your perspective, because we will not always be happy all the time, and sometimes it's okay. That doesn't mean you're always down, devastated, sad, or broken, but you're just in a content state where things are good as they are. So in a relationship, I think another thing that people do is the expectation of always having the other person to make them happy. Now, I know if you're in a long-term relationship, sooner or later you're gonna fall into that trap of expectation, but that's not how life works. Oh, my table shaky. That's not how life works. You are responsible of making you feel happy. And in this scenario, we're talking about a relationship that's perhaps been years. They have 3 kids, and she's a stay-at-home mom, right? So most people, or I'm assuming most people would think to themselves, wow, ideal. You get to take care of your kids. You get to spend time with them. You get to see them grow up. You are not in the position of being responsible of the financial burden. You don't have to work if you don't really want to, right? All that good stuff. And I think that is the part that some people want it, some people don't. Some people see the good in it, some people won't. Some people actually think it is putting women down, but at the end of the day, it's a choice. And nowadays, if we're honest about it, more and more people are not even going to get that choice because things are expensive. In some households, you are going to have 2 incomes. In certain areas, it is easier, it's doable because maybe, the life there in general is just on a lower budget. Things are not as expensive, or people have chosen to, live a less luxurious life. And that doesn't mean bad, but just spending on things that are not the biggest priority for them to make that work. Anywho, Now she has that luxury to be a stay-at-home wife and mother, and the man is the provider. He's taking care of the bills. He's going to work. Now I don't know what kind of setting exactly where they live, but we can all imagine that someone who's financially responsible for not only themselves but the wife and three children and the home and insurances and the car and everything else that comes to it, the groceries, everything else, the dreams of vacation and whatnot, everything that comes to it, we can imagine that that is tough, right? So being someone who thinks that is an ideal setting is like, if you have young kids, to me that would be the ideal setting, to be able to say one party is sitting at home, taking care of the home, creating a home, making sure the kids are, taken care of in the best way. You actually know what is happening, you're involved in their lives. And the other person is in charge of making sure that this is actually financially sustainable, right? And we all know how tough it is to go to work, to have to go to work. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people out there, they enjoy it madly. And even those who found themselves in a great workplace, great job, they even chose it, they're in a top position, like all that good thing. You can be in the best position in your work, and still we understand that it is not easy, right? It is still something within the passion, love, and all the things, it is still something that you have to do to make sure that your life is sustained, right? And that's tough. So you need to do that on days that you don't want to go. You need to do this on days that you're not feeling right. You need to do that on days that your coworkers are annoying over and over again. And now that is one person doing that. So I think people who want to go into that setting, they need to be aware of what they're actually choosing, right? And I also believe that creating a home, making the home actually enjoyable, loving, and everything that needs to provide the food on a daily basis, to do all these things, to take care of kids, three at the same time. I'm sure that is so much work as well. But to be honest, there needs to be more of a balance on understanding that, okay, look, I'm having to do stuff all the time, whatever the day looks like, and you have the comfort in your home to navigate how your day is going to look. And actually, I think that women who are in those positions or who want to do that, it is great to plan ahead and think of, who am I and what can I do to actually entertain myself while being at home? How can I find different ventures? And some people forget the fact that they can also create a workspace within their home, right? So I don't know, this idea of getting bored, I hear that a lot, even though with people who are not in a relationship setting that's built that way, with kids and, married life and just single people, the idea of what to do is so flabbergasting to people. It's like, I don't know what to do. It seems to me, and I'm not saying that work doesn't has it is its importance. This topic is going completely somewhere else. But I think that over time we have, life has just become work. Does that make sense? Maybe I need to speak on that topic. I'm just drifting completely. Well, anywho, let's see how this goes on. So now, to try and stay on topic, I'm sorry, forgive me for that, but I believe that whatever relationship setting that you find yourself in, with children, without children, married, not married, but you are in a relationship, it is no good for you to start comparing your relationship with other people's relationship. It should be simple. I know we're humans. We find ourselves doing things like that, just going through life, comparing yourself with, oh, look, my neighbor, they got this, and look, my friend, she got this. And to some degree, all these things are normal, right? But it depends on how you go about it and how consumed you are within your comparison with other people. It just is not a good thing to do and have in your life, because it's going to consume you and it's going to destroy you and destroy the good that you actually have. Now, does it make sense for someone to start comparing the love that they have in a relationship with other people's love? No, because you don't really know what's going on within the household. You don't really know how these people truly are with each other when they are behind closed doors. You only see what they want you to see. And that's the same thing with social media. People, we all do it. We are going to show you what we want you to see. And even then, you can add your own salt and pepper to the perspective of whatever you want to interpret. But at the end of the day, you don't really know. So stop comparing yourself with other people's relationship. If there's something in your relationship, sit down and talk through, work through. And if it's something that you can't figure it out to work through, and see if there's, what would I say, if there is a relationship setting that suits your value, then maybe you can get help in a sense of advice, right? But otherwise, comparing yourself with other people's relationship, I don't see that working well. And now in this setting, there's a woman and husband, wife and husband, 3 children, been together for years, have completely different day-to-day routine, have completely different setting of life, have completely different responsibilities, right? How are you going to be comparing that to people who just met probably the first few 6 months or something, and getting to know each other? It's a whole different setting. There is nothing to compare. Now, if you do get inspired and you kind of recognize, oh, we used to be that way, I want that back, that is a good intention, and find ways to actually implement that, but not in a way of, oh, look at them, they're always doing this and this, why aren't we doing this? No, instead, you see, oh, I saw it and I got inspired and reminded me of what we used to do, or what we used. Can we just bring that back, or come up with an idea how to bring that back, instead of, they do this and they're always on vacation. Are we on vacation? I want to go on vacation. I don't know why I came up with that voice, but it doesn't make sense, right? So I hope you guys enjoy. See you in the next one. Bye.